In this video I will show you how to knit up stitches for a folded neck edge and sew the edge together with Kitchener stitch using a stitch wire. I made my sample on 4mm needles and I will make the edge on 3mm needles. I use a stitch wire for knitting up stitches, but you can also use the wire on a thin circular needle. The wire is placed on the back of the edge with the short end to the left. And then I take my 3mm circular needle and attach my yarn. The first stitch is knitted up in the edge as usual. And then I wrap the yarn once around the wire. I knit up the next stitch. And again I wrap the yarn around the wire. I continue like this until stitches are knitted up all the way around the edge. There should be the same number of stitches on the needle and on the wire. Along the way you can pull more wire through. After knitting up the last stitch, make sure to wrap the yarn around the wire one last time. Pull the wire so the stitches won't fall off. I can now knit my edge. Here I am knitting a stockinette edge, but it could also be a folded rib edge. I place a marker for the beginning of the round and knit 12 rounds of stockinette stitch. On the back, the wire is ready for when I'm going to sew the edge together. I've now knitted the 12 rounds my edge should be, and I remove the round marker. I transfer the stitches from the wire onto a thin circular needle. The two needles are placed parallel to each other to fold the edge. I break the yarn and leave a yarn end of about 4 times the length of the work. I thread a needle with the yarn and I'm ready to sew the edge together with Kitchener stitch. I start by sewing through the first stitch knitwise on the back needle and take the stitch off the needle. And then I sew through the next stitch purlwise on the back needle and leave the stitch on the needle. I do the same on the front needle, slip the stitch knitwise and sew through purlwise. Off knitwise, through purlwise, off knitwise, through purlwise, finally the yarn is weaved in on the back.